Previously on Balls. Every Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Only on balls.co.za.
Right, so as promised, we have Mr. Atandwa Kani in studio with us this morning, the Prince of Theatre, as he calls himself, but most importantly, a Witsi.
Yes.
A Wits Drama School fellow student of mine. So welcome to Balls Radio.
Thank you very much for having me. Hello, Hayley.
Is it quite bright in here?
It is. I have my shades on. That's because my future's so bright, so, you know.
Okay, so not only is he a fellow Witsi and I'm the Prince of Theatre, but he does play the young Mandela in the movie being released today, Mandela Long Walk to Freedom. How do you feel about this being released in South Africa today?
Oh, it's so epic, guys. It is so epic. Like, I'm getting goosebumps just watching the trailer again. This movie is... Oh, I can't even explain to you. I'm at like a loss of words to explain how huge and how beautifully shot and how meaningful it is, and for it to be released now and firstly in South Africa before the world.
Thank goodness it's getting good reviews. I mean, imagine doing a Mandela film and it flops.
See, this one didn't have the possibility. It was inevitably going to be a good film because
Why?
Because Anand had spent 25 years
planning it,
getting it all together, getting information from Madiba. He's a close friend of Madiba's, going to Winnie Mandela, the Winnie family, and sort of getting the approval of the script. And there was draft after draft. So he was in close contact with them while the movie and the process behind the scenes was happening. So it was all the detail and all, and then you get Justin Chadwick, who is the director, who directed First Grader, and so
Anat is the producer, Anat
yes.
Singh, and Chadwick is the
director.
director.
He's the director. He's an English director from Manchester, but he directed the First Grader. But you remember the Maruge in, I think it was Kenya, the grandfather who decided to go back to school from grade 1 and then... It's a beautiful African story. If you don't know it, look it up.
Okay, but so it was awesome working with him as a director.
Absolutely, and because he takes so much care in every single thing that he does. It's almost as if like you're the assistant director, and he's always asking you, are you comfortable? Is the shot okay? If it doesn't feel genuine, then tell me so we won't shoot. And
so it couldn't fail. There was too much care taken, especially with the script.
It would never fail, ever. And the Prince of Theatre is in it.
So tell me, you play the young Mandela. What exact stage of his life do you portray?
The initiation stage, from the transition from boyhood to manhood, in the mountains when he goes for the circumcision, and slightly after that when he decides to make the move to Johannesburg, running away from the rural life.
Okay, and I mean, taking on the role of Mandela, you don't want to stuff it up. Like, tell us how the audition process worked, and how you built this character.
I mean, look, the audition process is it's exactly that. I mean, this girl's an actress is asking me about.
No, but other people want to know.
I auditioned. No, so I mean, it's the same as any other. You just go in there and you audition, and I mean, you get the words, and the words are meaningless at the moment because you haven't fully invested in them, and the director hasn't given you any notes on them. So you just go in there to the best of your ability with however decisions you make, and you go in there. And I had dreads when I auditioned for this role, so I was like,
How long ago did you audition?
I had dreads then, so I think it was about 2 years ago.
2 years ago, and the movie's being released today.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. It was my first audition.
So it's been 2 years in the running, this whole process.
Yes. Oh, I mean, before that was the audition process. Before that, there was months and months of planning before the audition process. So my involvement is 2 years.
Wow. Okay, so you went in with your dreads, and you didn't have to put on the Mandela voice, did you? Because Idris Elba doesn't do it either, does he?
He does.
Does he?
He does.
Oh, I thought
he's very good at it.
Okay.
He's very, very good at it. No, he does. He puts on the Madiba voice. The guy's an amazing actor. He's such a method actor. And sometimes he takes it a little too far.
Because I saw an interview with him, I played it on the show last week, where he's got this London accent, and he was swearing, and he was kind of like hip and cool, and then you see him in this serious role as Mandela. Yeah. So he obviously just completely disappears and goes somewhere else.
Absolutely. I mean, on set, I remember going down to Cape Town Film Studios. Yeah. And on set, we saw this tall man, and he had done prosthetics and everything in the hair, and we all freaked out because we thought Madiba was on set to sort of say hello and everything, and everybody's like, "Oh my goodness, it's Madiba!" No,
really?
Honestly. And the thing is, he's at the trailers, but as he's walking with the walk. He's got that Madiba walk, and we all freaked out and we all ran towards him, and we thought, "Oh, it's Idris." Okay.
Awkward.
Even more awkward now.
So he does carry that stature of Mandela.
Yes. No, and he's got, you know what, Madiba, when you look at Madiba, I mean, Madiba's that draw card, he's that trump card in every single game. Madiba is just so tall and charming, and he's got this presence, and he's almost a flawless sort of soul. And when Idris walks into a room, it just all makes sense. I swear, it just all makes sense. And you're just sort of taken aback, and you're like, and you're on edge, you're on the edge of your seat, and he's just this guy who comes in, and he's good looking as well.
Yeah,
and
he is.
Okay.
He is very.
Okay. And
Why are you blushing?
no,
should be
I don't know.
blushing.
No, because I know I said it. Don't confirm it. Now it makes me feel even worse.
Okay, so when you were on set with Idris Elba, could you chat to him, or was he always just very much in character and kind of not?
You could totally chat to him. I mean, the guy is. I remember this one night we were just chilling in Melville, and that's the kind of guy. He's just chilling there, and everybody's greeting him, and he's standing up, and he's chatting to them, and I said to him, like, "Do you know that you're Idris Elba? Like, why are you so cool and laid back?" But that's exactly how he is. I mean, he's also the sponge who just wants all this knowledge and all this sort of extra information. So anybody who talks to him, he's looking for that little extra something.
He's observing you.
Absolutely. So there's never a time where you can't talk to him on set, unless it's before an important scene and you don't like, Idris, hey, so last night what did you do?
Well, I mean, this has catapulted him. I mean, I didn't know who Idris Elba was before this movie.
Girl,
and
you
now
better
I do.
shut your mouth.
And now I've Googled everything that he's done. So it certainly got him onto the map. But tell me, so you've been promoting the movie now for, what, a few weeks, a few months? But is it being released in South Africa first?
Yes. Look, there are a lot of... It went to Cannes and it was bought in Cannes. Certain distributors bought it, and then it's been premiering around the world to private audiences.
Okay.
But now the official movie release to cinema... It's firstly here in South Africa for, I think, almost a week first, and then it goes over the world again.
Okay, so the South African audience gets a week to see it before everyone else.
Don't quote me on a week. I'm not sure. I'm just I'm making up a number here.
But so you weren't at the White House when Barack Obama was watching?
No, I was not at the White House, but like Anant went there with his family, and I don't think any of the actors went. I'm not sure, except. Was Idris there? Did you see any footage? I'm not sure.
Yeah, apparently Idris was there. And Barack Obama also commented on how good looking he was.
Really?
Yeah, I told you, I've Googled him.
Well, apparently, this is what people have said on set. I'm not gonna lie to anyone. I'm gonna say it. Apparently, we look very similar.
It was coming. When the Prince of Theatre is in studio, it's coming. We're chatting to Atandwa Kani, who plays the young Mandela in Long Walk to Freedom, which is being released today. We've got South African actor Atandwa Kani in studio with us, a very talented up-and-coming actor who just plays the young Mandela in Long Walk to Freedom, which is being released worldwide in South Africa. Is being released in South Africa today, the first worldwide release. Yes. So we get to see it first. Okay. And now apparently you've played Thabo Mbeki as well. You've played Mandela and Thabo Mbeki.
Yes.
Two presidents,
two renowned statesmen, two just, So, I mean, the Thabo Mbeki one was a stage production. That's one I won the Naledi Award for. Oh, yes, I did.
Okay, an Naledi Award. What was that? Best newcomer?
Yeah, it's best newcomer. Like, and I've been doing this for how many years of my life? Best newcomer. I'm like, okay, thanks.
What's your Thabo Mbeki voice?
No, you see, not that is just, it's gone from me. It is gone from me. I'm also like I'm so pedantic about detail. So I even looked at his facial expressions. I mean, when I did Thabo Mbeki, and I just found out there was a particular taste in his mouth. I mean, I'm taking you through a sort of nice little story, and it was just perhaps because he had that pipe and then his whiskey that he liked, and I just found out it was a constant taste of whiskey and tobacco in his mouth, and I was like, oh, that's what that. It's just a little.
Nuance.
Yeah, and that's how pedantic I am. I'm the Prince of Theatre.
And that's how you win awards.
And that's,
So you were obviously playing the young Thabo Mbeki, I'm guessing.
No.
You were playing...
him at the stage of presidency. So we just grayed the hair a bit, and I had this full-on beard. I'm actually getting back to it now. I don't know why I'm growing this beard. So I had this full-on beard, and we just put on grey stuff, and it looked great.
And they're going to put a tummy on you next for Zuma. Hey?
Yes, I'd love to play President Zuma.
All right, so let's go back to the whole promo tour and whirlwind. The Prince of Theatre is starstruck by Darren Scott.
I've just seen Darren Scott. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm going to look this way. Woo! Breathe.
So now tell us about the promotion tour and promoting this movie.
Yes.
And I mean, you watched it with Mandela Family, is that right?
Yes.
And yeah, take us through what actors do when they're on these international films and they have to sell it to the world.
So what you do is you travel with a Nant and sometimes the director and Idris and Riyad Musa, Tony Khoroge, a lot of the actors are there. And you get to the cinema where they're premiering it, whether it's Joburg, Durban, East London, Port Elizabeth, Cape Town. And we've done all of this. And before the show starts, there's a Nant who sort of presents sort of the whole sort of premise of the show and all of that. And he's got sort of recorded interviews with Idris Elba and Winnie Mandela, and a response from Nelson Mandela, and it's also this whole sort of black tie event, and then he introduces the actors. Oh yes, and then it's Atandwa Kani who plays young Madiba, and the crowd inevitably goes wild, and like, yeah, I love him, yeah, Atandwa, come here, and then. Okay, not exactly like that, but it's somewhat like that. And then you stand there, and sometimes, he chooses some of us to say a few words, and it's nerve-wracking because I know I'm an actor, but like on the spot. And then you have this whole sort of speech that you say and you present and you thank people. Then we watch the movie, and after the movie, people sort of start linking and connecting who the people were, and they're like, "Oh, snap!"
So
So after the movie, they come out, and there's a lot of pictures, and there's a lot of signing, and there's a lot of talking. Then there's
Crazy.
about. I think the most that we had in one sitting was about 9 journalists back to back in this sort of glass room, and you just open the room and they come and sit down, ask you questions, and you just respond. And then, you just rotation like that, and there's just these snacks coming in and out. It's so Hollywood. It's crazy.
It's so cool.
It is totally Hollywood. I enjoy myself when I'm in these things.
Good. You can't pretend that you don't. You know what I mean?
Exactly, but why would you do that? Why would you present? No, I don't enjoy it.
So maybe that's why you were trending on Twitter in South Africa the other day. You did an interview. What show was it on?
It was Zaziwa.
Zaziwa.
It's a show on SBC1 that it connects the artist with the music. So the music that you listened to growing up, and the music that sort of influenced your identity in high school, and the music you were listening to, your trajectory through life, and what musical influences you had in there. And I never do any interview, and I'm never sort of sitting still in any interview.
Yeah, you're not sitting still now.
So, so I'm always like running around, and in studio, I was booty hopping. And
you're doing a Tom Cruise.
Hey?
That's what got him trending. Copycat.
But no, Tom Cruise is insane. I love him. I'm in a good way insane. If you're listening, Tom Cruise, I love you.
Yeah.
You never know.
Tom Cruise definitely listens to the Hayley show.
He does. I saw him tweeted once. No, he does.
Okay, so you were doing this interview, and it obviously just got the audience and the response that you wanted.
Absolutely. Look, prior to any interview, even now I'm tweeting about the Hayley show.
Good.
So prior to any interview, you gotta punt it, and you gotta tweet, and you gotta do everything about it, and tell people that catch the Prince of Theatre. You see the Prince of Theatre here, or catch me, because people just want to see you, me, us. So you tell them where, and then they see it, and they expect. People have this preconceived notion that I'm just this sort of stuck up, sort of boring kind of guy, and I don't know where they get it from, or that I'm unapproachable and I'm arrogant and all this jazz, and because I call myself the Prince of Theatre, so I'm supposed to be sort of some arrogant guy who always talks about himself.
I can understand why people might have that preconception.
Because I'm very good looking, or what?
It might have to do with the Prince of Theatre aspect.
Perhaps. So I'm not very good looking.
Anyway, so they saw the interview and they saw your face, and then you were trending.
Not exactly like that. It wasn't as easy as that. So they saw the interview, and they saw the answers, and then some of the musical choices I'd made, and I think I'm a very original soul. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the world of acting, you never get this guy who just is risky all the time. You're always sort of risking your name because you're doing crazy stuff, and people might say, "Atandwa, that's not how you're supposed to act. You don't act. You're supposed to act appropriately with decorum when you're an actor in an interview." And blah, 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 blah. And I'm just this guy who's going crazy, booty hopping and doing Michael Jackson moonwalks.
Good. I'm glad you haven't changed. But now also, you were also I saw on Twitter the other night, you were on Royal Pains, the US series.
Yes.
Now, I watched that show and somehow I missed that episode. How did that happen?
It was over 2 episodes. Thank you, Hayley.
Sorry.
But how that happened was, I think it was last year. Because I'd done this show in 2007 called Life is Wild, American TV series, on the CW network, 7th Central. Thank you very much. and the producer was Michael Rauch. And that same producer of Life is Wild is a producer of Wild at Heart and also now produces Royal Pain. So he came in and he gave me a call personally. And it was myself and Wandile Mulabati.
That's another Vitsi.
Another Vitsi, yes, another incredible
So
actor.
they actually just came to South Africa and said, we need you two.
Yes, we need 2 male actors. And there's what's his name? Michael Rauch was like, I know the perfect duo, because he played my cousin in Life is Wild, and we had this chemistry. It was beautiful.
Brilliant.
So yeah, it was amazing.
Your CV is growing,
Incredibly.
but definitely Long Walk to Freedom is going to stand out by far. I think no matter
Yeah.
no matter how many more international projects you do, this will certainly stand out. And now we're going to give Brad Knowles from Stir Kinnikor a call, and we'll chat to him and we'll get his take on the movie, and also on the other release that hits the screens this Friday, which is the Leon Schuster film. You're going to be
Yes.
competing with Leon Schuster.
Oh,
People love
people
Leon
love
Schuster.
Leon. Mr. Leon,
Mr. Leon.
Dr. Leon, Professor Leon Schuster.
Oh, come on.
Brad, answer your phone, Brad.
Brad, you're live on the Hayley Show. How are you?
Yeah, fine with you, Hayley.
Good, thanks. We thought we'd get you straight onto air because we've got Atandwa Kani, who plays the young Mandela in Long Walk to Freedom, in studio with us. And
Lovely.
you've definitely got to say nice things about the movie today with Atandwa in studio. But maybe you could just share your thoughts and feelings with Atandwa and with the audience as to, what your take is on this momentous film.
Yeah, well, we are so excited for this film. I think every South African is. It's guys had the opportunity to watch it at Stir Kinnikor Theatres as of yesterday already.
Oh.
And I can tell you by having a quick look at the numbers this morning that it was really so far so good.
Is it beating Hunger Games?
Pardon me?
Is it beating Hunger Games?
Well, it's a bit too early to tell that, but we're hopeful. The one thing I can tell you
Yes.
is that it has beaten Hunger Games from a pre-bookings point of view.
Oh,
yes.
That is an absolutely amazing thing. Can you believe that?
Good to hear. And your take on the movie?
Sure. I have been, I'm a biggest fan having seen it. I had the privilege of seeing it quite a while ago, and then I had the privilege of visiting, joining the guys at the premiere, which was thrown at the Zone, Stir Kinnikor The Zone, and got the chance to see it a second time, and I'm an absolute fan. I think Idris Elba was absolutely superb. I think he's going to be knocking on the doors for an Oscar win.
Do you agree,
Certainly a
Atandwa?
nomination.
I do.
Okay.
Atandwa, I thought you were great. Well done.
Thank you very much.
not an easy thing having to dive in and play that role of such a legend. I think you did a superb job together with Idris Elba. So
Thank you very much.
My
sir.
point of view, I think it's going to be the biggest film of the year, and I hope I'm right. I hope in a couple of weeks' time when we talk again, I can tell you that is in fact fact and truthful. But the public need to respond by going to watch this film,
Yes.
and I think the only way and the only justice of seeing this film is to see it properly and to see it on the big screen.
Sure.
Because it is a blockbuster. Once you see the film, you'll be able to see that it's not a small budget film. It's certainly not a documentary, which I think is some of the misconceptions of people out there. This is a feature film based on the hero and father of our nation, and it is absolutely superb, and I can't wait to see the reaction and all good things that come thereafter.
Brad, is it a hard movie to watch? With scenes of violence and
No, I don't think so. I think
Fighting.
it's very real. I think it could have been. I think they could have made it a lot more gory, just because I think it was like that at the time. It is hard from a few points of view. I think we know the history of we've learned about it in the history books, and we've seen other sort of documentary types. So it is a hard watch from that point of view. But I don't think from a violent point of view. I think it's tough because it obviously tells a story of a man in a tough time, and a tough time, and certainly in our country. But from a enjoyment point of view, I think there's so much in it. So it's not only that. And I think it's really done well from covering the historical point of view, but from the life of Madiba and his relationships, with his wife and with his kids, with the government at the time. It's just a superb effort, and it's not a tough watch. It is emotional. I think it certainly takes you on a roller coaster of emotions, but I think every good film should do that.
Sure. And there's quite a strong complement of South African actors in the film. I know Theo Landy, Atandwa, who else is there?
Theo Landy, there's Tony Goroge, there's Terry Petto, there's Dion Lotz, there is Atandwa Kani. Second? Fana Mokoena is in it. Oh my goodness. Oh, Tapelo Mokoena, Thomas Gumede. There's Jamie Bartlett who's in it, David Butler who's in it. It's just, I mean, it's the cream of the crop of South African actors. It's just the top class of all these people that you see every day on your screens that are absolutely wonderful and majestic, and here they all are in this one film, and it's overwhelming.
And they're going to be catapulted into the international sphere.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they pulled their weight, hey, Brad?
Yeah, I think so. Look, I mean, it's a bit of a mix, obviously, with South African producer and British leads, Idris Elba and Naomi Harris. But besides the two of them, the rest of them are. It is a South African film just because of the 99% of the actors in it, and they did a superb job. It was really, really well done.
I like that. We can claim it as a South African film.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great.
Good. And another movie we can claim as a South African film is the latest Leon Schuster release.
Yeah, that's right. The other film that releases today is another Shucks, Your Country Needs You, the name of the title. Once again, Gray Hoffner directs with Leon Schuster, Alfred Ntombela is in it. Robson Fearon comes back as well. And the good thing, I think, from a South African point of view, is it's another candid camera-based film. Okay. So it's not like the film that was last year, which was more of a story-type film from Leon. This one is back to his old self.
Which we like, camera. Yeah. Back to what he did best.
And so does the public. I mean, I think I mentioned it on your show before, Hayley, but three of the top 5 grossing South African films in South Africa are Schuster films.
3 of the top 5.
Wow.
How's that?
Oh, wow.
So that means obviously you've got Titanic at number 1. But at numbers 2 and 3, you've got Schuster films before you hit Avatar at number 4, and then another Schuster film at 5. So it is Leon Schuster is one of the fathers of the theatre in South Africa, and he's back again. And it's a great film, obviously family wise. I think it's going to run obviously into the school holidays. Sure. And I'm sure, hopefully, most of the country will enjoy that when they're looking forward for a laugh. But likewise, they need to see the Long Walk to Freedom film as well, which is obviously slightly more seriously. It's got it's a very different film, and I suppose that's quite a nice thing to have, releasing on one day. 2 very different type films, and both of them, as a South African, you need to watch.
Definitely. 2 South African theme films this weekend. So Good Friday at Ster-Kinekor Theatres. And what's our movie question today, Brad?
Movie question today. So I mentioned from a Schuster point of view that he's back to his old self in his candid camera films. Mm-hmm. My question is, what was the last candid camera-based film that Leon Schuster did?
Ooh, people are getting onto Google right now.
Sure, right?
Awesome.
Not always easy. So you know the answer to that. You can win a pair of Ster-Kinekor movie tickets.
Brilliant.
You give them the details.
Yes, I'll give all the details now. Thanks for chatting to us, Brad, and have a great weekend.
No problem, but you enjoy it. Ciao for now.
Cheers, Brad.
Cheers, bye. That's Brad Knowles from Stir Kinnicore Theatres chatting to us about what is hitting the movie screens this Friday. And of course, his movie question, what was the last Leon Schuster candid camera movie that was released? Do you know?
I got a few options in my head, a few answers, but I'm not sure.
Ooh, I'm not sure either. So tweet me Hayley Owen SA, hashtag SK Theatres, and the first correct tweet will get a set of movie tickets.
Ooh, I'm tweeting. I'm tweeting.
No, you're not allowed.
I'm not allowed to tweet.
Not when there's so many computers open in the studio. Anyway, Atandwa, great to chat to you. And tell us maybe what's next after this. Can you see past it?
It's hard to because of your involvement in this whole process. I'm looking to travel to Boston and I think it's San Francisco next, just to promote the film some more. It's opening in London next
so
week.
Exciting.
So I'm looking to do that next year. I start a project with Sylvain Strike. It's a two-hander.
Just you and her?
Myself and her.
Wow.
It's her sort of comeback into the acting world after 9 years, taking a break and raising kids. And then there is a project that is taking us to the Old Vic and Carnegie Hall, back to South Africa. And it's based on Nat Nakasa's story, who was a drum writer. And it's an untold story, but it's got so much interest, and it's a story. It's another story that we need to tell, and it's theater, and it's taking me to the U.S. of A. Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm gonna come back with an American accent, saying, "Hayley Owen, how are you doing?"
Don't you
really
dare. Well, to follow Atandwa on Twitter, you can follow him at Atandwa Kani. Hey.
Yeah.
And Prince of Theatre will come up there as well.
Absolutely.
But yeah, great to hear how well you're doing. It's so cool. It's really
so lovely.
cool.
I love Hayley. I just want to proclaim this. Like, Hayley I've known for years on end, and we studied together. And look at her now. She never ages. I've got grey hairs all over my head, and she's just this Barbie doll. I want to marry you.
And I'm not paying him to say that. That wasn't in the deal when I asked him to come on the show. Thank you. It's been so cool to have you.
Thank you so much.
And now we're going to end the interview with the U2 song from the movie Long Walk to Freedom. So this will be on the soundtrack.
It's on the soundtrack. It's U2, and Bona and U2 did it specifically for the movie. So they wrote the song as a soundtrack for the film Mandela Long Walk to Freedom.
I heard that he's never said a faster yes than when he was asked to do a song for Long Walk
Who
to
would
Freedom.
say no? This is a great opportunity.
The Hayley O Show. Every Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Only on bulls.co.za.